Welcome to the Diva D-Town. Welcome to the Diva D-Town, where bold, confident women embrace life unapologetically. From love and sex to wellness and reinvention, we keep it raw, real, and powerful. No filters, no limits. Just fearless conversations to help you thrive. Let's dive in with Diva Mia.
Hello, this is Diva Mia, and today we're going to talk about weight gain after 40, and specifically weight gain after 40 as it relates to your libido and hormonal changes, etc., and the intimacy related to that and how you get a disconnect as well with weight gain. So welcome back. Today, I think it's important to separate two things out, as they often get lumped together. Your weight gain does not determine whether you are sexy, because you can be sexy with or without weight gain. It's more about your confidence level. But changes happen in your body during midlife, and it can affect your sexual desire. It can affect your energy, your confidence, and your comfort level. Hopefully, after today's podcast, you'll have a little bit more comfort and understanding about your hormones as well as your libido as it affects your weight gain. So maybe you gained 15 pounds, sometimes 30, or maybe it was even 60. You may have had children, but nothing seems to be working anymore. And then something else happens. You stopped wanting the lights on. You kept the lights off when you had sex. You started changing clothes that fit differently. You started dressing behind closed doors. You avoided lingerie. You stopped initiating sex, or maybe you even started thinking, I feel sexy again, or I will feel sexy again when I lose the weight. And that's not a way to live. That's a way to just survive. And suddenly 6 months, a year, or several years have passed, and today we're trying to figure out what happened. Well, it started a while ago. So we're going to talk about what it actually can help. Nutrition, strength training, cardio, sleep. Sleep is a huge one. And supplements and different types of hormone therapy as well. I know we've been harping on libido because libido is very important to sexual relationships and marriage and intimate relationships with partners. So first, if your body has suddenly changed or rewritten itself, midlife can be part of the culprit. Your estrogen's changed, your progesterone, your testosterone. And a lot of people, because of those changes, aren't getting adequate sleep anymore. You may also have children that you have to deal with, and sometimes our husbands, ladies, can behave like children as well. Or you're having stress. Maybe you're dating. And I will say the dating pool out there is kind of like a dirty, clouded fish tank. It's very hard to see through to find the actual good fish. So I will talk a little bit more about this, as well as we're going to kind of hit on muscle mass with your libido, insulin sensitivity, activity levels, and your appetite. So let's go ahead and dive right in. So menopause doesn't automatically make every woman gain a mass amount of weight. Some people do, some people don't. But aging in menopause, it creates an environment where maintaining your previous body composition is going to be challenging. And I think one of the problems is a lot of women think they can just keep doing the same thing and expect the results they used to get. They go to dance or they go to aerobics classes and jump around and expect their muscles to look as good as they did in their 20s and 30s. And they won't. We lose a lot of muscle mass as we get older, ladies, because our testosterone drops greatly. And because of that, we have an issue with maintaining muscle mass. And when we lose muscle mass, well, our fat deposits go in different places as well. And maybe you used to gain weight in your hips and thighs, and now all of a sudden you're gaining it in your stomach. It's a midlife thing. And that can be an issue because nobody likes to gain weight in their stomach. I don't know who you are, but nobody wants to have weight in their stomach. And it's a little pouch down there you get on your belly. At the same time, women can gradually lose muscle if you're actively not doing extensive weightlifting, and you're going to have to start lifting heavier. It's just part of life. And if you do lift heavier, you're going to love the way your body looks. You're going to love how you gain muscle mass and strength and mobility. But muscle will help also with like your physical capabilities as you get older and how your body looks and feels. So one of the first things I want you to think about is that stop thinking about 40 as being exclusively about losing pounds. It should be about shaping your body the way you want it to look. Your goal isn't simply to become smaller. It's to become healthier, stronger, and physically capable of doing all the things that you want to do. And we shouldn't be settling anymore. Ladies, we shouldn't be settling for old age as, oh, now we can't do the same things. We should be able to do just as much because there are women that are in their 80s and 90s still running out there and still doing active things because they make sure that they take care of their body. So what does it mean to have a libido that's affecting your weight? Well, it does affect it quite a bit because female sexual desire isn't controlled by just one hormone or body part. So we've talked about this in several podcasts, but our brain affects our libido, our hormones, our circulation, the genital comfort. I mean, so if you have any problems down there, sometimes women get more UTIs or different infections down there that can cause problems, sleep, energy, all of these things, even medications will affect libido, stress. So your body image and the way you carry weight is a huge contributor to your libido as well. So when someone says my libido disappeared because I gained weight, it's more about how you feel about that weight. And also it could be about the energy that weight is depriving you of. What else has changed at the same time? Did you stop sleeping as much? Did menopause begin? A lot of women lose a lot of their libido during menopause. Some women, their libido gets stronger, and other women, it goes down. Did intercourse become uncomfortable during menopause? Did your testosterone change so your desire went down a little bit? Are you on antidepressants? There's things that can happen, and there's also stressors. Sometimes we get illnesses that cause stress. Or did you have a relationship change? I will say a lot of times in our 40s and 50s, some women are getting divorced. And it happens at 40 and 50. I don't know why. I don't know if it's the man going through a midlife crisis or the woman. I'm sure there's lots of different reasons. Sometimes there's infidelity. Sometimes there's just disrespect. And sometimes you just grow apart. So you don't really know. And that causes stress in your body as well. And it can also contribute to a lack of sleep. And did you stop feeling desirable? Did someone start detaching from the relationship and so you felt less desirable? Because frequently we're dealing with several things simultaneously. It's not just one. So the body image libido loop, it loops it all back together. Here's where, it can be incredibly powerful. If you gain weight, you don't like your body as much. There's a lot of pressure on women to make sure that they stay thin. So you avoid situations where your body will be seen. You'll avoid going to the pool. You'll avoid getting naked, showering together, in lingerie, certain sexual positions. You may even avoid initiating sex. And spontaneous intimacy may be gone. It may be out the window. You stopped having sex with the lights on. And men are very visual, so sometimes they like to see things. And eventually you may start avoiding sex altogether. And when that happens, your partner has now noticed. So hopefully that this reaches some of you out there. If it is a crucial stage, if you've stopped having sex because of the libido and the weight gain in your body. And maybe they interpret the withdrawal as rejection. Some men even interpret the withdrawal that if you don't want sex anymore, that you're having an affair with someone, or they'll stop initiating it. So physical affection will start to decrease, and you don't want that because a lot of times when it does decrease, there may be other problems in the relationship. It can cause hostility and fights. The emotional and sexual connection that we have, ladies, is important. It keeps people together longer because it does create a connection that you don't have. I'm not saying that sex is the only thing, the connection that you need, because there's people disconnect emotionally for other reasons, but it does give you a connection. And pretty soon you're going to be saying, we just don't have sex anymore. And if you're not having sex anymore, then you're going to start saying, but the problem was not started in the bedroom. Where did it start? It started with the way you began to feel about your body is where it started. So it's a cycle. The cycle kind of starts with weight gain, and then you don't feel satisfied with your body. So you might avoid certain things, and then you're less intimate and less connection occurs, and now there's less desire. And here's the important part. You don't have to lose 40 pounds before you interrupt the cycle. You can start today. You can feel more desirable. You can try to create more of a connection. Because honestly, ladies, most of your men love you just the way you are. And they don't care about the extra 20 or 30 pounds. They will love you no matter what. So just own what you have. Start working to where you want to be. You can work on your health while simultaneously reclaiming your sexuality. If you come in it confident, men will still have sex with you, ladies. They enjoy sex that much. They're not looking and analyzing every little part of your body like we do to ourselves. These two, they can happen at the same time. Get your confidence back, and confidence comes from within, not from without. Sex should not be a reward for reaching your goal either, because then you're going to say, okay, I'm not going to have sex until I lose a certain amount of weight. That's not a way to go. You're in a relationship, you should still be having sex with your partner. When you lose the weight and buy lingerie, you can make your sex even more kinky or fun or lively. Or if you say, I'm not going to have sex until my stomach is flat again, or I'll date again when. That's not a way to have self-confidence. That's a way to decrease your self-confidence, because you just need to buy clothes that fit you today. You need to wear lingerie that fits you today. It makes you feel comfortable and sexy. There's nothing wrong with you. You're sexy. And I believe that your man, if he truly does love you, will love you how you are. You should be able to put on whatever makes you feel attractive and start inhabiting your body again. It'll be empowering, and that will help your libido. It'll help your confidence. It will help you lose weight, because some women lose 50 pounds and still mentally they see a woman that's 50 pounds heavier. Because of that body composition and body image, they're completely related or irrelated. They're not identical. Work on both together. The other libido killer is painful sex. We did talk a little bit about this with dryness and sexual dryness, but sometimes we think that we have no desire, but the problem is it's very uncomfortable or it's painful. And sometimes it's not exactly a mystery. It may be your brain has learned that sex equals pain because of the burning or the dryness. There's nothing wrong with using lubricants, ladies. You need to start using lubricants if you need. Coconut oil is a wonderful thing, but be careful if you're using protection, if you're still in the child-making years. But it's enthusiasm with sex is going to decrease if it's painful. So remember, declining estrogen around menopause can make vaginal tissue thinner, drier, and very much less elastic. So you have to identify vaginal dryness and ask yourself, do I want to have sex, or do I want to deal with the discomfort? And sometimes once you get the comfort fixed, ladies, and talk to your person about this. And if you're uncomfortable talking to your husband about it, talk to an OBGYN, see what they can do. Talk to a gynecologist. Say, hey, look, I'm having just discomfort with sex. Is there something I can do? And then let's talk diet. There's no magical libido diet, but however, their eating patterns can support metabolic health and make you feel sexier as well. And it helps with muscle retention. Start with protein. I honestly, if you go with kind of the rule that you should have, 1 ounce of protein for every pound of body muscle mass you have, that's a pretty good rule of thumb. So if you have 105 pounds or 115 pounds of muscle mass, you should be eating 115 grams of protein. So when you're trying to lose weight, just focusing on the protein. I know when I do this, I don't hardly get any carbs in at all, because the protein, it takes a lot to eat that much protein. And you can get protein around eggs. Eggs are a wonderful source of protein, and fish. Just be careful with the mercury load of fish. And then cottage cheese, yogurt, chicken, lean meats, beans and lentils, tofu. Try to stay away from the fried food as we get older. That's not good for your cardio health as well. And then add vegetables when they're tolerated, whenever you need. So you think of your diet as protein first, then plants and fiber, and then healthy fats. It's not starvation. You'll find that if you can get enough protein in, and you get your workouts in, and you get your weight training in, the weight will just fall off. Maybe not as fast as it did in your 20s, but consistency works, and it will start to work. But remember, the number one way that you have to do is you have to get at least 8 hours of sleep, ladies, because we need the sleep as we get older as well. And the sleep will help the weight come off. And it needs to be uninterrupted sleep. So get one of those rings. And if you wake up a few times, that's okay. But if you're getting up at 3 o'clock in the morning and working for a couple hours, that's not healthy either. So try to get your sleep under control. For me, it's been a challenge. I understand, but sleep is important. And if you have a partner that snores, maybe start sleeping in another room. Come together at night and then go and leave and go to the other room so you can get a good night's sleep, or make them go to the other room. Personally, that's probably my favorite idea. And then don't declare war on fat. We need fats for our skin as well. So we need extra virgin olive oil, avocados, some nuts and seeds. You need those things to make sure your skin stays supple as well. And then fiber will matter. So remember that fiber helps you feel full. I don't focus a lot on fiber though, because vegetables have enough fiber in them. It's not like you need to add flaxseed typically or oats, because if you're eating enough protein and getting fiber from your regular vegetables like broccoli and cauliflower and kale, you shouldn't have to worry too much about adding more food, because you'll have plenty of calories. You have plenty of food, with just the protein and a basic veggies. Try to stay away from all the processed stuff, though. The processed stuff as we get older, it's just not good. And the fried stuff is terrible. So get away from all the fried foods. And then when we talk about exercise, you need to start talking about strength training. So we have a wonderful ability to build, strong legs. So I think working the leg machines and rows and hip thrusters, get those butts going, and leg presses and Those types of things will give you the biggest bang for your buck the fastest because your legs are some of your biggest muscles. You don't have to become a bodybuilder, but we do need muscle and we do need strong. There was a study that came out that said that the strength of your thigh will determine your longevity. And because of that, if you have strong thighs, you're less likely to fall. You're less likely to have hip problems. You're less likely to get hurt. But I recommend that all women work out with weights 2 to 4 times per week. And you adjust it based off your medical limitations. And until you can, maybe you start off in the pool. And they do have weights for pools that you can use to start strength training to get you back to flexible. And then eventually you move to the weight room. And yes, walking counts as well. Walking, you increase it daily. I know some people only walk 15, 20 minutes a day, but I don't know why people can't walk at an hour a day. Do it 30 minutes in the morning, 30 minutes at night. Walking is one of the best ways to lose weight, and if you do it on an empty stomach, it's even better. Start first thing in the morning as the sun's coming up and get a beautiful 30-minute walk out in nature. And then there's dancing and hiking and swimming. All of these things we can do, ladies. We're not stopping. We're just getting started. So remember, your life is what you make it. Your life is how you decide for it to be. And it should be joyous and joyful, whether you're married, whether you're in a relationship, whether you're single and you're happily single, whatever. Let's enjoy life together. And then sleep, maybe secretly, sabotaging both your weight and your sex, because if you're tired, you're not going to be in the mood. And, sometimes if they snore, you're awake, and sometimes you may snore when you're tired. And then alcohol, ladies, alcohol at bedtime is a killer for sleep. You think you're getting better sleep, but you're not. And then if you're in menopause, you may be having hot flashes in the middle of the night, and that can cause it too. So if you're drinking coffee, try to cut your coffee intake off by no later than 1 or 2 o'clock in the afternoon, because that can interfere with your sleep as well. And then once you get your sleep improved, that might help your libido because your testosterone does increase naturally when you're sleeping better. So there are supplements that actually work that can help with your libido as well and help with weight loss. So let's talk a little bit about some basic things that people need to take. So you need to make sure that you have adequate vitamin D. And as winter months come, a lot of people do not get adequate vitamin D. And don't assume that you're getting it just because you go outside once in a while. You need to get it tested, because what happens is we get older, our skin gets a little thicker, and you don't absorb as much vitamin D as you used to. So go to the doctor, get your vitamin D tested. And magnesium is one of the most important things for normal muscles as well. And it helps with, if you ever have the problem of you have restless leg syndrome or you get twitchy or cramps, you may have a magnesium deficiency. Don't forget about taking enough magnesium in. Omega-3 fatty acids, that's good for your skin. It's good for your organs. It's good for inflammation. Creatine, one of the biggest things that deserves attention lately in midlife, great ladies, is creatine, because it can help with muscle development and it combines with resistant training. I would recommend 3 to 5 grams daily is common maintenance amount. You may want to go a little bit more, talk to your doctor. But it's not a libido supplement, but it is a muscle performance tool, so it'll help you get in shape faster and quicker. And then protein supplementation. Protein powder isn't magic, and a lot of times a lot of them have a lot of carbs and sugar in them. So be careful on your protein powder when you're taking that as well, but that'll be up to you to decide. And then you'll see different products that contain things like maca and ashwagandha, fenugreek, horny goatweed, DHEA. Those types of things help balance your hormones, and they can help with libido as well. Balancing hormones is always a good thing to do, especially if you're having hormonal issues. And then talk to your doctor whenever you're adding supplements as well, because some supplements do interfere with medication, so you need to be aware of that. And then when hormones, enter the conversation, again, it's always good to talk to your doctor. Talk to your doctor. Gynecologist is a great place to start. If you need to go to a specialist for hormones, you can either get a referral or there's plenty of hormone specialist doctors out there, because you need to discuss your menopause symptoms, your thyroid, your sleep, if you're having depression, and your medical health. Forget to take care of your hormones. Estrogen is a big one because a lot of people in our age need to supplement with estrogen. When estrogen has an enormous sexual difference in when you have low estrogen and your vaginal dryness. That is a big one. Testosterone can help with vaginal dryness too, but this estrogen is huge. So if sex is hurting and you want sex to become a lot easier, talk to them about estrogen. And then testosterone, it can matter for sexual function as well. There's evidence that testosterone, it's in postmenopausal women, it gets rid of any sexual desire disorders you may have. That doesn't mean your libido is going to go from bad to great overnight, but it may help. But if you get too much testosterone, again, it can cause acne, facial hair, scalp changes, and extra oily skin. So be careful with testosterone, okay? You want to get it regulated. You want to get the right amount. And then there are the prescription weight loss medications if you need to go that route. I know a lot of women in their 30s, 40s, and 50s are on them now. There's the GLP-1s, the tirzepatides, the retatrutide now, and I'm sure there'll be more coming along the way. But you need to make sure that you're still getting adequate protein and still working out during this, because a lot of people, they take these GLP-1s and then they stop eating as well, and then they when they get off the GLP-1s, they gain all the weight back. So just remember it can be a problem. And then don't expect weight loss medication to fix your libido. That has to come from within, and it has to be a balance of hormones, and you have to be able to believe that you want to have sex. You have to understand that you have to have a desire for sex, and you may need to go to a therapist as well. There may be some mental health issues that need to be worked out with, maybe between you and your partner. But weight loss medication is not a silver bullet to fix your libido. It may help with your physical confidence, but that's not a fix to your libido. And then there's also medications it's called hypoactive sexual desire disorder. It's when you don't have a strong sexual desire for your partner, and it can have a medical history issue. It might include behavioral approaches or different medication or vaginal symptoms. What can be done to help fix it? But what I would do first is try to build your confidence back up. If you're over 40 and you gain weight, your libido's still there. It hasn't disappeared. Believe me, mine's stronger than ever. So don't immediately assume that the solution is simple. Lose some weight. Instead, while you're working on to investigate the entire system, ask yourself, is the sex physically comfortable to me? Is it not? Is it even in a little bit discomfort? Address that first, and then ask how you're sleeping. If you're not getting sleep, that will definitely affect your weight, because people gain weight. There's been studies that show if you don't get adequate sleep, you're going to gain 11 to 15% more weight than if you get adequate sleep. And are you losing muscle? A lot of women lose muscle over time. So start resistance training. And then look into what you're eating and your menopause symptoms that you need to discuss with your clinician. And then the next thing I would say is, did your libido change after starting a specific medication? And then ask yourself, do I really want sex, or am I avoiding it because I'm uncomfortable with my body? And if you're uncomfortable with body, maybe you need to talk to a therapist about body image. Maybe you need to figure out what you need to do to make to love your body more, because we should all love our bodies. And is there any resentment or emotional disconnection in a relationship? Has your partner been secretive? Are they not interested as often? Are they leading to things that are making you feel uncomfortable? You need to discuss that with your partner. And then finally, is low desire causing distress that other things haven't addressed it? There may be other things that come up. Maybe you're in a situation where you're in a relationship where the partner is not loving, but figure out exactly why your libido's gone down. So let's put a game plan together. For the next couple weeks, we're going to work on stabilizing your sleep, your intake, your exercise, your medications, fixing your vaginal dryness, and any pain related to sex. And this is going to start with physically, without making intercourse the requirement. You're just going to, maybe you touch, you kiss, you cuddle, you flirt, but takes intercourse off the table. And then the next couple weeks, try to increase your strength training, decrease your waist circumference, make sure you have vaginal comfort, see how your libido feels, see how your mood feels, see if you guys are talking more, if there's more connection, because the scale's one measurement, but how you feel is even more. And then the next couple weeks, so we've done 4 weeks of just working on getting ourselves comfortable, getting any pain or dryness gone, and then getting our weight in a closer way. And then for the next 2 weeks, we're going to reassess. So say, hey, have I lost the weight I wanted? Do I have more to go? Have I gained any strength? How is intercourse now? Is it less painful? Has my libido changed? Are the hormones kicking in? Because by week 6, you should see some changes with hormones if you're on hormone therapy, and improve. Is there anything else you need to improve? And then rework the cycle again, and just slowly every 6 weeks do an improvement. So every 2 weeks, you're going to refocus on different things. And if you rework and you refocus on improving your sex, it'll get better. It's just consistency. And reclaiming your sexuality while your body changes, it's important, because your body's going to change. Here's the reality. Your body's going to change. Men's bodies change. They gain a lot of weight as well. They don't look as attractive as they did in their 20s. And so men have to understand that it's just part of life. And you need to understand that too. You also may want to have a cosmetic procedure if you want to nip and tuck anywhere. There's no judgment. You can change your body however you want to change your body, but don't postpone your life just because you're a little bit uncomfortable. And don't spend 5 years saying, I'll date when I'm thinner, or spend 5 years saying, I'll date when my stomach gets flat. No, get started now. Today is the day. It's the best day you have. It's the only day you have. You're not promised tomorrow. So make every day count. And in closing, I just want to say, if your libido changed after 40 at the same time your weight changed, there's probably a deep connection there. So look deeper. Look into your muscle mass, look into your health, look into your comfort level, your stress, your sleep, and take it seriously because it matters. You should have sexual health all the way up into your 70s and 80s, ladies. This is not something that you're done having sex at 40 because we as women are sexual creatures and we need to enjoy sex just as much as men. And sometimes your body isn't telling you that your sex life is over. It's just saying, I need some support. I need some help. I need to make a few changes here and there because things have changed a little bit and there's nothing wrong with that. So I hope that helps. Remember, live life for today because this is the only day you have. And stay strong. This is Diva Mia signing off. Have a wonderful week and enjoy your life and enjoy your sex. Take care.
Thanks for tuning in. Like, subscribe, and drop a comment. We'd love hearing from you. Visit thedivadetails.com to connect. See you next week for more.
Diva Details podcast and website are intended solely for informational and entertainment purposes. The content provided does not constitute professional, medical, financial, or legal advice. We are not licensed medical practitioners, financial advisors, or legal professionals. Always consult with a qualified healthcare provider for medical advice, diagnosis, or treatment. Any financial topics discussed are based on personal opinions and experience and should not be considered professional advice. The content provided does not constitute legal advice. The Diva Details and its affiliate contributors and guests are not liable for any losses or damages arising from the use of our content. The opinions expressed in the podcast are solely those of the speakers and do not necessarily reflect the views of any affiliated organization, sponsors, or partners. All facts discussed in the podcast are researched and accurate to the best of our knowledge at the time of recording. Information may change over time. No guarantees are made regarding the accuracy, completeness, or reliability of any statements or opinions presented. It is the responsibility of the listener to verify any and all facts that may influence their decision. This podcast is for information and entertainment purposes only and should not be considered professional advice.